I think from my aspect, programmatic, in simple words, if I want to define, it's nothing but reaching out to relevant audience and fulfill their needs.
Hello friends, welcome to this series Heroes of Sokrati. You have been watching this series for quite some time. I am the host for this series. My name is Manoj Vanjari. Today we are thankful to have with us Mr. Chinmay Gadgil from IDC, and we'll be in a conversation with Chinmay on various aspects. So Chinmay, welcome to this episode of Heroes of Sokrati, where we invest time in having a candid conversation to understand aspects related to the organization, your journey, challenges, and the growth. Okay. So before we get started over there, a little about yourself.
Sure. So it's been 2 years in Sokrati. It's been a roller coaster ride, to be honest. I'm managing programmatic team in IDC.
Sure.
And currently I'm affiliated to Merkle US entity, which works with us from last 3 to 4 years.
Absolutely.
And apart from it, a little bit of work on different other entities in US, UK, and EMEA and APAC. So that's all about my profile. I'm the leader in terms of delivery, service delivery of programmatic services, and I'm a little bit of looking into the social, advertising as well.
Sure.
So that's all about my profile.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chinmay. I think that was very interesting. So what we would like to understand is, you mentioned you have been here for 2 years, which is like a pretty long period.
Yeah.
Quite an eventful journey it must have been. So a little, can you throw a light on a little about your experience at Sokrati?
Brilliant. I mean, couple of things that I would like to mention. When I arrived in Sokrati, I've learned many things, but the important factor which is required for a healthy work life is open environment and flexibility.
Fantastic.
So I think leadership here is one of the key things. I always like to talk about leadership here, because unless and until you have two things which I mentioned, you will not be able to work in any organization.
Absolutely.
So those are the things that I've learned, and those things took me where I'm currently. So open environment is one of the things where people come and people work according to themselves. I just don't like people to come here, punch in and punch out. So that kind of culture, is been given by Sokrati, wherein you don't have to worry about anything else. Just focus on your work, complete work, follow the deadlines, and that's it.
Fantastic.
And second thing is flexibility. I think once you are in the organization, you understand the professionalism, right?
Correct.
And within that professionalism, you understand what are your roles and responsibilities, right? So I think Sokrati gives you that flexibility, that you are kind of a person who knows your roles and responsibilities. And also, I think everyone in today's world know how basically we should work. So I think such kind of things are very important when you arrive in any organization. So that's the reason why, I think I would say my Sokrati journey has been a roller coaster ride, as I said. And these two factors are kind of, impact me a lot.
Great. With that said, a little towards programmatic, which is your domain, and you are the champion of it. So why don't you highlight to our audience a little about what is programmatic at IDC and what's the work, or a little nuances about the whole programmatic domain?
Okay, so I think talking about programmatic, many of the organizations and many people that I've met, have different opinions about it, because it's a new form of advertising which has been, creating a lot of chaos in the market. What exactly is programmatic? And so, I think from my aspect, programmatic, in simple words, if I want to define, it's nothing but reaching out to the relative audiences in various forms. People can go and talk about technical things, but here is something that we can always propose, that it's nothing but reaching out to relevant audience and fulfill their needs. As simple as that. So I think that is one thing that keeps me inspiring as well in terms of looking towards my work. And at IDC, I think we are working with lot of onshore entities and help them out with their programmatic operations, strategies, planning, and etc. So currently we are working with 16 odd entities across different regions, 7 in US, 4 in EMEA, and 5 in APAC. And we are around a team of 107 people now.
Wow.
And I think 70 odd people are working on programmatic operations, and some of them are working, the remaining I think 38 odd people who are working on ad operations. So this is how the team is formed. I think we have around 8 managers on the floor now, in the beginning it was like around 2. We started from 2 and now we are a team of 108.
Wow.
So it's been a roller coaster ride for last 2 years, to be honest, and it's been a fantastic journey. So that's all about, the work that we do in IDC. Yeah.
Great. With that, I want to move little towards understanding. Definitely, such a large team comes with its own benefits, but at the same time challenges.
Yeah.
So, what is your strategy on managing such a large team? Your demanding stakeholders, because as you mentioned, programmatic is a very evolving thing and very confusing also.
Yeah.
So, managing one hand a confused customer or stakeholder, and other hand you have a large team and a growing team. What is your strategy of managing?
Okay, so leadership is all about 3 things. What I feel is one is integrity, one is insights, and another is inclusiveness. So these 3 points are something which I have learned from a lot of lessons that you get on YouTube and all. Okay. So I think yes, of course, there were certain challenges where I think some of the aspects of it could be coming around timings that we have to work in late hours.
Sure.
And fulfilling their needs is something which is very important. So
right.
From client perspective, I think as we say in domestic, client is like our God. So it never changes for any different thing. Like absolutely in international business as well, client is our God. But I think the challenges are a bit different. I think client is a bit understanding in international. I think they understand that people who are working towards us are also contributing in their success.
Okay.
So that's something that they understand. But yeah, I think timing is one of the challenges. Then sometimes we also see, recruitment is one of the challenge that I have always faced. But, I think you as an individual, in case if you are a leader, then you should be involved in every minute aspect, whether it's hiring, whether it's client relations, whether it's operations.
Right.
So we basically started giving HR team also about trainings, how basically you should figure out profiles, how basically you should look after the candidate and what are the needs of a particular candidate. So such things definitely resolved a lot of challenges. And yeah, those are the challenges that I have faced during my growth and all other aspects.
Great. I think that was very interesting perspective. Since you mentioned about hiring is a challenge, I think a lot of folks are watching this video and will be interested that they want to get through the door to be here, because this is one of the numerous places somebody who wants to be in the digital field. So what is that you look forward, or what are those criteria which you feel you would look into, or what is your message for folks who are preparing?
Okay, so the first and important message that I would like to give them is believe in yourself, because many of the folks that I observe are kind of scattered from the day they start giving the interviews. Like they think about future, where exactly I am going to land.
Okay.
They think about next 5 years. Instead, they should be focusing on one day.
Fantastic.
Or day one in any organization.
Sure.
So the message that I would like to give them is to trust in yourself, which is very important. And secondly, do not lose your confidence, because many of the times when critical questions comes in an interview, people tend to basically think about it a lot. But at least give it a go, and project your approach. That is very important. So nobody in the interview asks you about the exact answer. We don't demand any exact answer. So if I ask you about 987 into 498, I don't demand how basically you're, what is the answer, but how are you approaching towards the answer is very important. That is where, your roles are probably how basically we can evaluate you is on the basis of these things.
Approach,
so, approach is very important when you are giving an interview. And also in terms of confidence, a lot of people tend to basically, give up sometimes that, okay, this is a difficult question and I might get a chance in another question.
Okay.
So that is not right. You should attempt every single question. You should always try to focus on what exactly has been asked.
Sure.
And accordingly, you can give the answer. And of course, I think failures is a part of your success. That's always been a challenge, because, if in case you failed in first time, that doesn't mean it's over for you.
True.
True. So prepare well, assess yourself. That is very important. Self-assessment is one of the key things in case if you are giving the interview for the first time, or, probably not being there for the longer time. So yeah, that's all about the interview process, and that is how folks should get in.
Great. I think that was very interesting, Chinmay, on the aspect of hiring, because the way you articulated the growth, I'm sure you are going to continue to grow.
Sure.
And I wish that growth should happen, obviously, good for all of us.
Yeah.
But interestingly, getting the right people on board is also very important.
Right.
And that's why this was a very, very important part. So, Chinmay, now what I want to understand is you articulated the growth that has happened. Okay, what is the trajectory that you are looking forward now, maybe even next year or 2022? What is that is your vision or Programmatic's vision to go ahead?
Of course, as many as possible. There is no certain number,
Okay.
Of course, but yes, I think initially when we started, we were only 2 people in the team, and then now it has become a good 108 people. So my approach towards 2022 that at least we end up at 500. So if you talk about number, but I don't believe in numbers, to be honest.
Okay.
As many as possible is something that I believe in.
Okay.
So definitely I'll give my best to go ahead and train the leaders, because one of the facts in leadership is that you just don't sit there and lead. You have to mentor as well. That's something that I've learned from my leaders.
Fantastic.
I think would like to take a couple of names: Prasad, Deshpande, and Vivek, Kulkarni, who are like senior most leaders, and they always believed in mentoring.
Right.
Unless and until you mentor your juniors, obviously you cannot grow yourself.
Absolutely.
That is the big difference that I've learned in Sokrati. That always try to see and how you can deploy your knowledge to your juniors. It is very important. So such kind of skills will always give you the best growth. Obviously, the people will try hard towards working in their respective entities and start getting the numbers.
True.
And once they get the forecast, obviously the growth will happen. But yeah, to answer your question, as many as possible.
Great. I think, Chinmay, we have definitely had a good journey of conversation, right from where you started to what it is at Sokrati, what is Programmatic into. Any last 1 or 2 key things which you want to share to aspiring people coming on board, and at the same time those who have joined and going through this work from home? Of course, it is challenging.
Yeah.
Any specific message or 1 or 2 key things which you want to say?
Just one thing that I would say is relax, because you have to basically relax. Otherwise, you will not be able to work unless and until you relax your mind. So,
Absolutely.
I basically in my lifestyle prefer to do yoga, which is very important in terms of focusing your mind. It is very important in terms of getting out of this pandemic situation that we are in.
True.
And of course, second thing is, like I said, that you have to trust yourself. Otherwise, you will not be you will not end in a good place. So yeah, I think these 2 couple of messages that I would like to give. And certainly to end this conversation, I would always recommend guys who wants to enter in media, specifically, challenge yourself. That is very important. In case if you challenge yourself, then only you will be able to find the right path. So that's all about the message that I would like to give new folks.
Great. I think thanks, Chinmay. I think it was a wonderful conversation with a leader managing a size of team 100, which is probably aspiring to grow as large as 500, maybe 1,000. But these are some of the key aspects which are there. Thanks for watching us. I'm Manoj Vanjari, sharing with you the heroes of Sokrati with today's leader, Chinmay Gadgil, and wishing you all the best. Believe in yourself, have confidence, and you will be in Sokrati. Thank you.